A cool breeze slides down the cliff as it heads out to sea. Balkan Bay comes to life as Port Sarajevo shifts into gear. Port of Sarajevo, a Balkan Bay episode. So I'm sitting in Bucky Bucks doing my lists. So I'm in Cherbourg on the hook, and I'm gonna catch the lace and take it to Guernsey. It goes west, it's in the English Channel. Okay, no problem, all sounds good. But the lace leaves at like, I don't know, I don't remember, the tide, slack water was like 9 or 10 at night or something, and then it turns and heads that way. So I leave an hour before. Okay, I'm on anchor in Cherbourg. Marina, I was just out of the marina on the hook, waiting, you know, so I can just go, pull up the anchor and leave. Pull up the anchor, let's say it was already dark. Pull up the anchor, I lift up my main, and I'm motoring out. The moment I'm still good, I'm protected, okay? It's a very big basin over there. It's there's a lot of stuff built at sea, and it's all, you're protected. You feel there's a strong wind out, you feel there's a wind, but if you don't have experience, you don't really know what it means, you know, that you feel a wind when you're in port, and what does it mean out at sea. Okay, so we're heading out. It's dark. The minute I leaving port, green on red, sea ahead. As a bow rams into a wave, the spray bites cold into my skin. The minute I put green on red and it's sea ahead, I get hit by a wind, and this wind's already, it's pushing me to the east. All good, I got my main up. It wasn't the best idea, but you know, that's what I was thinking at the time. The first wave that I go over puts baby mana onto like a 45 degree. It was a big wave. My engine's on. I'm still don't understand what's going down, okay? It's dark. You can't see where you're going, you can't see anything, it's all black. The second wave puts us on a 50 degree. The third wave put baby mana onto a 90 degree. That thing just lifted us up, and it was a big wave, and it was steep, man, and she just flew up. Her bow just went sky high. Zhenya started screaming. Okay guys, so before we continue with my mess ups, Navy school, Balkan style, let's go over some boat building, I'll show you where we've come to, what we're doing. So here's the boat, it's glassed on top, glassed and primed immediately. On the wet epoxy, I don't wait. I put the primer on immediately. There's my Skvana girl, she's my apprentice, she's watching the job, she's learning boat building. Okay, so combings, 8mm poplar ply, and the way I do it is very simple. I cut everything on bevels according to the shape and all the stuff, and then I do a July fit. So when I'm doing a July fit, then I'll put in this screw and two small screws, are little 2mm holes, and I get the two screws in and I screw it all up. When I'm happy, I put it in place, and if it all looks good, I take my screws out, put in polyurethane glue, screw it back together. Then I drill a small hole over here, 2mm, and another small 2mm under it. The screws are there holding the glue. I drill two more small holes, and I bang in toothpicks. Put a little bit of glue on the toothpick, bang it in, bang it in. 15 minutes later, I take the two screws out and bang in two more toothpicks with a little bit of glue on them. 15 minutes later, this thing is solid like a rock, man. turns into such a solid frame that it's so easy to work with. Then I put thickened epoxy around and I clamp it. And I just clamp it. I clamp it all around. I use 6 clamps, roughly. Once I've done that, immediately I do the fillet. Okay? And inside I do fillets on the corners and a little piece of glass. It's the same way I've done that combing. I've done all my combings this way. They come out so strong they never budge. Because later on, here's the sanded combing. Today I'm going to put fiberglass running up here, and I'm going to glass it all the way to the top, and then I'm going to glass around the corner. So once that happens, this becomes super solid. I mean, you've got glass on the outside, you've got a fillet and glass on the inside, and you've got a polyurethane bond, and you've got 4 dowels, let's call them, going in. You don't need more than that. I've never had a combing move on me, and this thing is so strong. This is 8 millimeters and it's solid. That's a 12mm combing, thicker ply. And here we go, this is how we glass in. So because the boat's too big, you can't glass the full surface in one time. No ways, man. You can't walk. So I've done 1 meter of glass, because that's the width of the material. And then I'm overlapping about, I don't know, about 25 millimeters from here to here is the overlap. I like using masking tape to just prevent the stuff running all over the place. And I use masking tape to prevent any epoxy running down and wetting the ply. I don't want epoxy wetting my ply. I want to be, when I'm glassing, I want to glass over bare ply, and that way you get the strongest bond. The glass and the epoxy, they dig deep into the plywood and you get a very, very strong bond. Zero weave over here, no weave whatsoever. It's all full, man. There's absolutely no weave. I fill it with the paint. I full weave a couple times with a roller. I go over with a sponge roller, then I throw it away. A couple times I do it quickly. I fill it. It takes very little actually. After you've glassed it properly, doesn't take a lot to fill the weave with epoxy. And then an hour later I come and I put my paint on. There's very little weave here. I mean, here and there you can see a little bit of squares, but it's neglectable. It's nothing. It's a really good fiberglassing job. I'm pretty happy. And so now we've got a lot of sanding to start doing, and hopefully flip the hull soon, I don't know, or bring the armor in and start working on the armor. I'll show you the hull on the inside. So here we are on deck. I can stand on the sleep pod anywhere I want. It's very, very strong. I really like it. And let's go down below. Okay, here we go. It's my little steps. And we're in the hull. So, kind of dark in here. Captain's clothes in here. Crew's clothes in there. Charts in here. Charts in there. A piece of ply will come down off the wall, lie down here, and then you sleep like this. When the ply is up, the chart will be under the ply, and under the bed the chart will be mounted onto that, and that's your navigation table. So you'll be sitting over here on a bucket or something, and you can navigate. Very strong boat. I'm very happy. I mean, it's really solid. I've put 8mm on the walls, and I've cut down on one stringer, and I believe it's fine. This is waterline, so I've got the stringer and the beds coming in at waterline, and I don't see why I need the stringer up here, because there's only a meter between that bulkhead and this lip, and this and that, so it's actually a small surface, so I don't think I need a sling over here, so I didn't put it in. Inside the lead pod there's a lot of truss work going in there. I've blown holes in all the bulkheads over here. These are trusses, tension trusses, okay? They're designed on tension, so when you're pulling them up, actually they go into tension, versus if I went the other way and if I went this way, it would be compression trusses, okay? Going this way with the diagonals. I've turned them this way so they're tension. Plugs are tension boats, so everything should be tension. This thing is a truss, it's got the truss thing in it, and it's supporting the lead pod. And I'll tell you guys, this boat's tough. Okay, yo. So this will be sticking my head out and watching the world go by. And that's the boat, guys. Avaya 30 is the model, and this is the 3025 because he's 5 feet shorter. The third wave put baby Mana onto a 90-degree. That thing just lifted us up, and it was a big wave, and it was steep, man, and she just flew up. Her bow just went sky high. Zhenya started screaming, but by this point I've got blown down, way down, and I'm like way east, okay, already. I can't just come in now, like it's a mess, okay. I'm going out. The waves are huge. The waves were huge. It was a 6, it was a good 6, blowing strong to the east. The tide, I think, was still coming in because I was moving east so fast, it was unbelievable. I'm heading north towards England, but I'm flying to the east. That nun just disappeared, man. It was way, way, way to the west. It was way to the west now. I'm heading north and I'm just getting blown, but Zhenya is screaming. Zhenya is screaming. Thank God. Okay. At that point I can't handle this anymore because like we're really rocking and rolling and the wind is strong. The wind is much stronger than what I expected. That's the first mistake. I pull in my sail. It was a in-mast furling, the main, so it goes into the mast, and I turn the boat now, and this is when I got totally shocked, because I turned the boat and I put my 5-horse Honda onto the max. I lever it up all the way, and now I'm heading west to come back into the marina. We decided we're not doing this. It's not happening. Okay, we're coming back in. Okay, I was blasting ahead. The GPS was doing me a favor and telling me you're doing 1 knot. Maybe. But the waves and the wind and everything was against me, and the current was against me, and everything was against me. I was battling to do 1 knot. Okay? So everything is doing a good job pushing me east towards Belgium. I'm doing the best I can to go west. The boat's doing me a favor. The GPS every now and again is telling me you're doing 1 knot. West. I went out for 5 minutes, okay, and in those 5 minutes it took me almost about 40 minutes or something, or 45 minutes it took me to come back until I had the nun to port and I could turn in and go in. It was a frightening night at sea. It was so frightening. It was frightening. This scared Zhenya, and that's a bad thing, scaring your crew. You never want to scare your crew. Never, ever, ever, ever scare yourself and scare your crew. That is just the biggest mistake you can do. She got really scared of night sailing ever since, okay? The mistakes that I did over here were big mistakes. The biggest mistake was Forget all the fact that I didn't know, that I was unprepared, that I didn't expect, that I got hit hard, that I got all this. That's all good. Okay, whatever. I mean, that's happened. You're dealing with that now. Problem is that I was getting pushed east very fast. But I had no clue about what waits to the east of me. I didn't know anything. I'm going into darkness and I don't know what's east of me. At this moment, you're on the helm. You can't leave the helm. You can't navigate. You can't do anything. And the biggest mistake is that you weren't prepared. I was not prepared. I don't know what's happening. I'm prepared going west. I got the whole navigation set out. I'm going to catch the race at so-and-so. I'm going to fly with it to Guernsey. I'm going to go on a bearing of this. And I'm going to sail on the heading of that. And all the blah, blah, blah. I was all ready to go west. But I was not ready to go east. And I went east for a long time because it took me a very long time to come back to where I left. So, I didn't know where I was heading because I didn't look on the charts. If you're going out of port, you should know the whole area. I believe, and that's what I do. I want to know all the dangers that are in this region. And I want to know the dangers on my way that are in the region in case something goes wrong. I didn't know all this. I wasn't prepared. I didn't assess the wind out at sea. I had no experience and I didn't know what I'm getting into. It was too strong for the boat and for the engine. It was too strong. This is a 22-foot boat. This is too much. You should never, ever, ever take your boat to the limit. If the sea puts you at the limits, then the sea has done that to you. But if you're taking yourself out into a sea that will put you at your limits, that's really bad navigation. That is not acceptable. I did that because I didn't know what was waiting for me out there. We came in with our tails between our legs, okay? The sea was ridiculous. The waves were unbelievable. I had no clue of the waves of this region, how aggressive they were. They were like walls. This was a big mistake. It ended good. We came in, we dropped the hook. Always respect the power of the sea. Always, always, always. Always know what you're going out into. You must know what you're going out into. If it means climbing onto the rocks and walking out and feeling the strength of the wind before you head out with your boat, then do that. Do something. I don't know what you're going to do. But don't just say, oh, it's a 4-6, no problem, I can go out. No, if your boat's not, the boat was cut out for this type of work, but we weren't. Baby Mana would survive much more than we could. You must take into account that a well-built boat will take much more than you can take. She took it, I survived, Jenya survived, we came back, but we got very frightened. It was a bad day at sea. Night at sea. Guys, welcome to Balkan Shipyards, welcome to Sailing Mistakes, welcome to Balkan Bay Navi School. This year's the Avaya 3025. This boat's going to cost about 3,000-4,000 euro, and I'm going to sell the plans next year for a few dollars. Because I want tours to come back. I want to bring back the Shunter. Because it's the best vessel of all. You stay here and you watch the next episodes and you will understand what are Shunters, what are their advantages, what are their disadvantages. The way I see it, they have more advantages than disadvantages. And that's why Shunters should come back. The time has come. There's a lot of wrong information published on the internet about Shunters, and it's done a lot of damage. And I think we have to change that now. The time has come. Guys, I've got both the hulls inside, working on the armor, putting in bulkheads, priming over the flesh epoxy. That's the style we're working. Here's the dagger. Epoxy primer directly over the epoxy. Join the build, people. Give us a hand. Give us a like and subscribe to our channel, please. All the best, guys. Help us with the algorithm, because he doesn't like us, but we got nothing against him. It's okay, we understand him. He's got his way and we got ours. Give us a hand, people. Guys, in the descriptions below there's a link to our Patreon. You can find us there, or you can find us at Balkan Shipyards at patreon.com. Over there you'll see Balkan Bay Navi School, more videos, and we'll share the build over there. And you can support us, give us a hand, give us a push with as much as you want, people. Take care. All the best. Balkan Shipyards.